Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live, February 2023, with the theme Mental Unpacking. Good evening, everyone, good day, and good afternoon. As you may have noticed, something has changed. As you can see from my background, I've moved. I have moved from one city in the Netherlands to another, and as such, my address on the contact page has also been updated. If you want to send me anything like a card or a gift or anything like that, it will have to go to the new address. On the plus side, it should be easier for any kind of postal service to deliver there than the old one. Also, I wonder if anyone had noticed from the themes that it was all related to moving, either mentally or physically. Yes, I also have the camera set up differently. I will probably invest in a different camera because multiple things have changed, and it is not easy to have the camera the same way I did before. I am very happy that I put some effort into recording ahead of time, so I didn't miss any files. I don't think any one of you could even tell which file was recorded in the old or the new place. That's the idea anyway. Thanks to an audio friend of mine, I even did the effort of checking the audio spectrum of the old and the new files to see how similar they are. Sometimes I am an incredible nerd. And welcome, both familiar and new faces, to the Nimja Live. After that rather long-winded intro, let me tell you how this is going to work. And yes, the move is definitely a good thing. It was thanks to remote work, I could find a house that was much bigger than my old one. So, how this works. As usual, I do the introduction, which is what we're doing now. Then, in a moment, we will discuss the theme. This is a gentle theme, which means that we will not do any kinky or obedience or submission kind of stuff. During the suggestions, you can come up with anything that fits with the theme, and I will write it down. After that, we will do the trance, where you can choose to participate. It is entirely up to you. And after the trance, there will be time for a Q&A. So keep your cues for the time for answers. Not that I'm required to answer, I have been known to be somewhat playful in my answers. Let me adjust this just a bit. There we go. That's a very cute suggestion idea, to hypnotize you to pause the video and hold your arm suspended with the finger over the spacebar. It's an adorable idea, but for another time. Today's theme... I'm sorry, because of everything going on, I even forgot to do the most important thing. I want to thank all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and I want to thank all my Patreons and all the donators that keep surprising me with their absolutely amazing support. Thank you. I'm really grateful for still being supported, and it's also part of still enjoying this. Now, other questions, like what did I have for dinner, will have to wait until after the trance. All right. So the option that got by far the most votes was mental unpacking. Sometimes you have a lot of stuff in your mind, so maybe it should be unpacked, or maybe something else. What image, what idea do you have with mental unpacking? Unpack Queen. And welcome everyone from all over the world. From at least 3 continents, possibly 4. Ooh, unpacked and in order. That's a really nice one. When the boxes are all empty and you're just happy to be there. Sorting out thoughts. Because when you're unpacking, you might also still discard some things. Mystery boxes. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, you don't always know what's in your mind. If you have questions, Trash, then you'll have to wait until after the trance. I actually forgot to say one more important thing. Earlier today, I did a workshop in the Netherlands. It is on the site. I only got home half an hour ago or so. It was a bit more of a rush than normal. Plucking mention or motion would be a nice way to unpack some thoughts. They're not unpacking, Moose. They're picking thoughts. Ooh, dumping a box on the floor or the couch. Yeah, just sitting down and slowly unpacking it. And then unpacking. Throwing away trash. Unpacking heavy emotional baggage. Throwing trash. Rediscovering forgotten treasures. Oh, I like that. Rediscovering. Rediscovering forgotten treasures. Poland, France, Canada, New Zealand. Sorting through that pile of thoughts dumped from the box one at a time, until they're all put away and the box is just empty. Very nice. Nostalgia. Oh, that's also a nice one. It helps if I write the word nostalgia correctly, even though you just wrote it for me. And yes, America as well. Quite a few from the US, I think. Flattening the box when it's empty. Someone has been doing moving recently. When unpacking, it's important to make at least one corner of a room as an oasis of calm. Otherwise, the chaos of boxes can be overwhelming. Like preparing an unpacking space. Somehow losing something even though you packed everything. Finding lost items in the box. Getting distracted by popping bubble wrap. Ripping the packing tape off. Very nice. While going into bubble wrap is very tempting, I already have a file for that, TM. Unpacking a mystery box. Finding a gift hidden by a friend. A hidden gift. That's a cute idea. Hidden gifts. Getting distracted by that one games console you were obsessed with that one time. Each box may have a theme or a category of stuff. That's an interesting idea. Themed boxes. And Mystery Nimja Ink logo box. Oh, how did that box get in there? While very tempting, this is a gentle file moose. Get lost every once in a while, you always find your way back before. Jigsaw puzzle in the box. Actually, a jigsaw puzzle file is also a nice idea. Eating the entire box of donuts. Breaking something in the box by accident. Well, let's go there. Let's not go there, I mean, sorry. Let's make it something nice. Remembering to take breaks. Oh, that's an interesting one. I could make you take breaks while listening. And the suggestions are all over the place. Well, a lot of them are still very similar to unpacking. Taking breaks is fractionation. Yes, perhaps. Make us like water. Super flexible. All right. I believe I have enough. Now, for anyone unaware, where do I put this now? For anyone unaware, during the trance, I will turn the chat to members only and ask people to stay quiet. You are not required to participate in the trance. You are simply free to do as you want. And during the trance and afterwards, feel free to take a moment for yourself if you need to. Let me see. There we go. Now, are we all ready? All right. And do make sure that you are hydrated, in a comfy place, and ready to enjoy whatever you want to do. All right. Hey. Yeah, it should be on members only. Oh well, YouTube being YouTube, I guess. Nothing we can do about that. All right, let's begin. Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live Mental Unpacking. It's easy to forget how many thoughts we have laying around in our mind. It can get very filled up with old ideas, notions, and sometimes it's good to just sit down and look through all those old boxes and do some mental unpacking of your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas, maybe even your dreams. It can be very nice to take a moment to just sit down, relax, and make some space. Because before we can begin any kind of unpacking, we have to prepare a good space to do so. So let's begin by some nice emptying, some blankness that will provide a blanket of comfort as we help you to relax and unpack. Close your eyes and imagine in your mind a space that can be easily cleared, where you can sit down if you want to and have all the quiet, all the comfort, all the room you need to unpack. Even though you're probably going to go back and forth every now and then, you might have to put some things away afterwards. There's no way to predict what will happen once you begin to unpack. Some of these boxes are so old that you barely remember that you've had them. Who knows what ideas, what concepts, what thoughts are left in there. At the same time, it's nice to be in a mindset of curiosity, exploring yourself and remembering that no matter what you encounter, you are older and wiser now than you were then. And you can either enjoy the memory or learn from it. It will be positive either way. And any emotions that may be triggered or called up from the items in the boxes, allow them. Because it can be nice to relive some of the past and see some of the things, feel some others, hear what you've done. I'm going to count down, and as I count down, you will arrive at the space that you've been making without even really knowing. And it will feel natural to be there, because it's your space. 10. Take your time. 9. As I count, it just happens. 8. Very good. 7. 6. 5. Letting yourself drift deeper. 4. Enjoying the time. 3. Getting ready in the most wonderful of ways. 2. 1. And drop if you like. It can be any space that works for you. It's time to get the first box. I have no idea how old this one is, but we have to begin somewhere, don't we? Opening the tape, unfolding the top, and beginning to unpack as you use the space that you've just created. Each item belongs somewhere. It has a place. It will feel so good to go over each and every one of them and put them where they belong or discard them if you no longer need it. Sometimes we keep hold of things that we could have let go long ago. And it can be nice to feel that it's time to let go. As you continue to unpack the box, as you go from thought to thought, emotion to emotion, the emptier the box becomes, the more organized your mind feels. What can be especially nice is finding that thing that you'd forgotten you even had, almost marveling at its presence, like a forgotten treasure, a wonderful, delightful surprise. And it's okay to be distracted by it for a while, before you give it a place and move on to the next thing. The more you are sorting, the more calm you feel. And as the box slowly empties, so does your mind. Everything gets placed where it belongs. I wonder how many things you've chosen to let go of, and which things have been sorted and feel right now. Especially wonderful is the satisfaction of the empty box. After all that hard work, that box is empty before you know it. And with a wonderful mindlessness, you can look at it and feel satisfied to let go. There are a few other boxes still to do, but there's no rush. You can take as long as you like. Time means nothing here. Between the seconds, there is always more to feel. Some of the boxes you almost forgot. Some are more new and you know very well what's inside. Some take longer. Some go faster. As you take a deep breath, time seems to just move. Box after box is empty. Memory after thought is sorted and placed. And it creates such a wonderful stillness everywhere. And when you look at what you've sorted, you can feel so satisfied. Everything feels in the right place. Everything is where it belongs, so you can find it if you need to. Some things are discarded, other things are put in places where they don't need to be looked at all the time. And a steadying, a rising, a completing stack of empty boxes just feels so fulfilling. The emptier they are, the more peaceful you can feel. It's quite interesting to encounter some of those boxes full of things you'd forgotten, while at other times you remember them very well and are just part of it. And in one of the boxes is something that you just didn't even know was in there. A small gift from someone dear. You almost wonder how it got in there. But it's so sweet, so warm. Every now and then we take a break. We stop and really relax. The satisfaction of the tasks completed, allowing a relaxation so deep and profound. And after the break, we continue with a few more boxes. More discarding, more sorting, but it goes so smooth. It's like time just washes by, flows further without even needing to think about it. A deep breath. And before you know it, you're done for now. You know that in the future maybe you should do it again, but not too soon. It will take a while before you accumulate so many boxes again. Maybe next time you'll sort them differently. Or maybe you'll pack things together in a different way. Will you even be aware of how you'll put them together? We'll see. As you mentally clean up the last remains, putting the folded boxes away and enjoying one last time your own handiwork. As I count up, you can be proud of yourself and appreciate how your mind is an absolutely wonderful place. Maybe a little strange, but all the more interesting because of it. 1, 2, slowly waking. 3, 4, more aware. 5, 6, almost there. 7, 8, almost awake. And 9, 10, awake. Welcome back, and good job. Until next time. Whew. That was very sweet. Now let me switch the chat back, and there we go. Oh, now YouTube realizes that it should inform everyone. All right then. It felt really short, but it was also not as short as you think. It was about 16 minutes. I'm actually kind of happy with this one. It's simple, but also like kind of how I imagined the mental unpacking to go. It's also interesting to see how it goes in different ways. That for some, it is a like a time stretching of like it feels much longer than 16 minutes, and for others, it's like that was only 16 minutes. But it's just nice how things go sometimes. Well, I mean, it's not that I'm usually unhappy with my files, but it's more like I had this really weird idea because the options were inspired by me moving, and I just had no idea where I was going to take it. So, inspired by your suggestions, it took me for a surprise as well. I mean, nothing wrong with feeling very soft and heavy. I have to find the cookies first, ironically. And yeah, time is mostly non-existent when in trance. All right, I'm almost ready for the proper Q&A. Let me make sure that everything is okay and that the audio file is in fact saved so that I don't lose anything, because that would be a shame, wouldn't it? There we go. And yes, everything is okay. So it was about 16 minutes, 16 and a half. There we go. All right, let's begin the Q&A. And indeed, like the suggested moments between seconds. The narrator asks, what was for dinner? I had a mixed dinner of some typical fast food things in the Netherlands and some fries, some meat, some bread. It was actually kind of nice. Annelies asks, have you ever released a file you didn't like that much just to stay on schedule? Yes, and to my surprise, some of the files that I thought were not that great were received really well. And Laura Roberts says, it's always amazed me that you can do all that on the fly. Quite brilliant. Kudos. Thank you. Algorithmic asks, so have you finished unpacking yet? Mostly yes. Sam asks, what's your favorite file you ever recorded? The next one. Mornieng asks, as a Finn, I just have to ask, do you like salmiak or salty licorice? Mostly yes. I do prefer sweet black licorice, but it's like within Europe, I'm quite happy to eat licorice. Outside of Europe, it often feels off. And Jezebel asks, other than bigger, what are some other non-identifying features of your new place that are an improvement over your old one? Yeah. I have an after carpet. This will only make sense to a few people, don't worry. Callista says, seeing you work as a DM must be amazing. I quite like tabletop role-playing, actually. Sam asks, do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? Sorry, Dreary Lane. Lila asks, have you ever used AO3? If so, what is your opinion on the lack of censorship? I think AO3 has a very strict tagging system, and that is very important because that allows people to exclude what they don't want to see. Snedis Katrin Kronesdotter asks, Konradsdotter asks, how long have you been a hypnotist? No, not too long. More than 20 years. Gravity asks, have you ever tasted brown cheese from Norway? I don't think so. Not sure. Annelies asks, any word of encouragement for people wanting to make content? Enjoy experimentation. Don't worry with content about what is being liked or being unliked. Concern yourself with what you like and what you want to make. The more you are into it, the more likely it is someone else is into it as well. Grace Taylor asks, Nimja, could you speak some Dutch for us, please? Natuurlijk kan ik dat, maar dan weet je niet wat je wil. Catherine says, that was really close to how you say my name. Well done. Thank you. You are welcome. Official Moose of Canada asks, if you were the Muffin Man, what kind of muffins would you make? Enticingly delicious ones. Algorithmic asks, any New Year's resolutions for 2023? No. I don't do New Year's resolutions. There is a really fun video, I think it's by CGP Grey, about themes, which I think is more effective than resolutions. Eternal Fantasy asks, what is your favorite part about being a DM? Being surprised by my players. I can make an elaborate story or an elaborate death trap or bad guy, and players will mess something up in the absolute best of ways. Cyan asks, how far are your evil plans yet for Hyde 2023? Oh, I don't have any evil plans. They're nice plans. No, they're not completely innocent plans. They're nice plans. An algorithmic asks, what is your theme for 2023? Well, they're not supposed to be for the whole year. But currently my theme is to make this my home. Katrine asks, how many languages can you speak or know? I speak like 2 languages very fluently, which is English and Dutch. I speak some German and French and a really tiny bit of Japanese. Dingetje asks, how do you manage to keep releasing files so consistently? Do you have a secret stash of files hidden away? Normally I record about a week or 2 weeks in advance. Sometimes I record more in advance because of, like, I know some things will be happening, or I have a longer term plan. And yes, Jezebel, mess things up in the absolute best of ways is a great one. Or as, what's that amazing female engineer called? I think she's Swedish. Oh, this is going to hurt me. But she did an amazing TED Talk on aiming for failure, so the worst you can do is accidentally make success. Simone Geertz. Ha! I said it before anyone in the chat did. Simone Geertz has an amazing TED Talk. And yes, she also made the Tesla pickup. Sabine Hossenfelder is also fun, but specifically I meant Simone Geertz. Her TED Talk is very fun. Mahu asks, what is the best ice cream flavor? The one that makes you close your eyes and just enjoy. Annelies asks, if you gave a TED Talk, what would you tell people? I don't know. I mean, I could do a TED Talk in hypnosis, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I don't consider myself fancy enough to do a TED Talk. Mokli asks, what are you looking forward to most about Hyde? Seeing people again. It is just, it's nice to see people in person, and it's just really nice. Giving hugs, laughing, chatting. Sam asks, do you have pets and what is your favorite animal? I do not have any animal pets. And my favorite animal, I don't know. Eternal Fantasy asks, opinion on ice cream in the winter? Sure. Why not? And I'm the only food like being eaten at a different time of year, it's kind of weird to have seasonal foods available outside of season, like chocolate eggs. The narrator asks, how has the weather been? Too warm for winter. But it's very localized. Zia asks, are you going skydiving? I am not planning it at the moment. Annelies de Ver asks, do you prefer energetic animals or those that are more docile? That depends on my mood as well. I'm not always in for very energetic animals, but like I can still enjoy running around with them. Official Moose of Canada, that is an absolutely fascinating thought. I have no idea of the volume of drool that has been produced as a byproduct of my files. And I also don't really know how I would measure that accurately. The other charts that I made was at least based on some kind of reality. Katie asks, could you please read out the oopsie whoopsie meme in a really cute Dutch way? I'm not familiar with the oopsie whoopsie meme. I'm assuming it's like, oopsie, or something. I don't know. That sounds more like the Mortal Kombat one. AI asks, what is Hyde? Never heard of it before. It is a an European hypnosis conference held in Germany. It'll be in English. That is, as far as I know, somewhat sold out already, and it is in the middle of March. Maokat asks, you talked about finding things you forgot about during the unpacking. Have you ever had an experience like that? Not really. I packed things and I knew that I had them. Morning asks, can you play any instruments? I can play the guitar and the piano a little bit. Not, like, very good, though. Well, if you do want to calculate things like drool produced over the years, the biggest problem is you'd have to somehow find which files would produce the largest amount of drool, which would require quite a significant sample set of people willing to tell me which files do and do not make them drool. And to my own comfort, I have not missed much in packing. There were only one or two things at the moving day itself that I found out that I needed to fix. And Iris, I indeed saw what it was. I still haven't seen it as a meme. I'm usually quite aware of most memes, but no. The noom sound. Noom. Mao asks, is there a song that could get you to headbang? Specifically headbang? No, there's plenty of music that can get me to move along. One of the songs that is, to me, almost impossible to sit still to is Lone Digger. Caravan Palace, Lone Digger. Let me see. That's still about people curious how to measure things. Mokali says, I wanted to say thanks for a particular piece of advice on keeping track of time. It turns out having a clock visible indeed flies the time in a more controlled manner. Yes, that is indeed a very good way of doing it. Katrine asks, if you don't mind, how old are you? I am 42. I am terrible at guessing people's age. Well, now you know. Morning asks, which side of the fidget cube is your favorite? Well, I generally like the buttons, like the individual 5 dots. But I can enjoy any side of it. Algorithmic asks, not even Wayne's World style headbanging in the middle of a bit of Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, maybe a little bit in that one. Also, it's just a really good song. Grace Taylor asks, could you say the words docile in a drawn out long kind of way, please? I think that's the longest I could draw it out. Katie asks, what would you wish for from the kinky hypno genie? I'm not sure. See, if I would wish for more hypnosis powers, would that get boring if people already obey me? Part of the fun is to explore how people's minds work. Reese asks, is this a full-time job or something you do on the side? It is something I do on the side. Anders asks, you mentioned you've tried submission before, but it wasn't really your thing. Would you mind elaborating on that? It's not that I've exactly tried submission before. I've just never felt connected with a desire to submit. I've tried things like bondage before, but other than it's fun to escape from, or hey, this is fascinating, I've never felt that to be like something like I click with. And this is okay. Some people just don't like or don't connect with submission. Some people don't connect with dominance. Official Moose of Canada asks, so would you wish for brattier subjects? Is that a bratty question? Lila asks, do you have any tips for being taller as a sub? I'm 5'7". Sometimes I don't feel I look submissive enough. Why? Lila, consider this. If you are taller, isn't it extra submissive if someone smaller than you or of equal size manages to take you down? There's nothing wrong with height either way. You can be dominant and shorter, you can be submissive and taller. It doesn't matter. The thing that matters is how you feel, not your actual length. Zia asks, what is the best thing to do when you love someone but they don't reciprocate? Either appreciate friendship and learn that love is more than just partnership. Also, if you love someone, let them go. And yeah, the phrase, if someone is taller, it hardly matters when you're down on your knees, doesn't it? And one is never too tall to be the little spoon. Ah. Okay, I'm probably going to hate myself for this one. And the number one prize goes to You're Never Too Tall to Fall. Mao Cat asks, what is the inspiration behind your butterfly logo? So a long time ago, I read a comic where butterflies were described as the messenger of the soul, and I really like the idea of the eyes being the window to the soul, and having the butterfly being the messenger of the soul felt like a really nice link, and that's how I used it. Someone needs to cross-stitch You're Never Too Tall to Fall with a bunny next to it. It is nice to come up with a pun that someone in the chat hasn't done yet. Microspoon TM. Saki asks, does that also apply to you, since you're also very tall? Well, I can definitely fall over, but hypnosis is a different thing. Annelies, to err is human, to bug is also human. Grace Taylor asks, how tall are you? I am 187 centimeters or 6'2", if you're not grown up enough to use the metric system. Andrews asks, what is your second favorite kind of tea? I quite like a lemon ginger infusion. Mastermind asks, can I open the cute new locks on your website with my caps lock key? Well, have you tried? Jezebel asks, what is your opinion on AI-created art? It is here to stay, it will only get more, and it is in no way different from asking a person to recreate art. It'll be interesting to follow. Mahu Cat asks, have you ever been rickrolled? Sure, but I don't care. I'm also familiar with the game and how to win it. Morning asks, do you have a favorite movie or series? I have a few favorite movies. Actually, one of the last good movies that I've seen was Glass Onion, a Knives Out story. Sam asks, do you have a celebrity crush? Not really. Annalise Fair asks, wait, how do you win the game? Search for the following thing on the internet. XKCD space the space game. It's a mind antivirus. Morkley asks, if you had access to any outfit from Benoit Blanc's outfit, which one would you go for? Not sure. I am very amused, though, that people are still talking about a meme that is from, what, the late 2000s? Probably earlier. Andrews asks, is there a particular common moment or reaction which gives you a rush of power during a scene? So, one of the things that I really like is that surprise or like wonder of, whoa, is this really happening? Or this, I can't believe it's happening. And Jezebel, of course, I will know which movie that is. It starts with a W. I forgot which actor says it, and ends with an S, the movie title. But you already give me $1, so you don't have to. Annalise de Fair asks, have you ever come up with a good synonym for a good NB? I still haven't found a good, like, gender-neutral version of good boy or good girl. Let me see. Dodo asks if I ignored a question, but now I'm not sure if I saw the question. I will check real quick. Sorry, Dodo, you asked, how does being hypnotized feel for you? My apologies. I didn't intentionally ignore the question. How does it feel to be hypnotized? I do not get hypnotized very often. But it's very similar to a flow state that I do for programming. That's a good sweet thing. Yeah, so sweet thing is appropriate for objectification, but not necessarily for something else. Katie asks, how often do you get things through Wisdom's suggest commands? Not too often to find it annoying to deal with, but often enough to be surprised sometimes. Katrine asks, what's your sexuality? I'm open-minded. Morning asks, any specific textures that you really dislike? Rough knitted woolen clothes. Like if it's very rough wool and itching. Iris mentions, you can never go wrong with just asking someone, if I want to praise you specifically, what can I call you? Funny you should mention this, but today at the event, there was someone I asked that question to, and they explicitly had no answer. The narrator asks, when is the next botnet update? Some people will find it very curious to wonder about the next update, but also find some delightful frustration in not knowing when to please me. Eternal Fancy asks, do you like rugs and carpet, or do you prefer hardwood floors? Yes. Mao asks, what did you get up to at the workshop today? It was a mostly beginner-focused workshop. And it was very nice to introduce a lot of new people to hypnosis. Lila asks, what is your favorite way to carry someone? That very much depends on context. More open-minded than a subject in trance? And Jezebel mentions, if someone asked what to call me if they wanted praise, you would just stutter, blush, and fluster. Vin asks, do you have advice for going to an in-person hypnosis event for the first time? For any kind of event, be it kink or hypnosis or whatever, don't expect the world. Go there with an open mind and focus on making friends, on just talking to people and finding out how it is to talk to other people who have a similar interest as you do. And good dragon. Oh, you're such a good... I'm sorry, I appear to have been cutting out for a moment. Anders asks, do you or have you done much in the way of martial arts? If so, what? And what do you like about it? If not, why not? Mostly it's been like a money/time thing, so I never invested a lot of time in martial arts, but I do like learning basic positions. It's good for focus, physically. Trish asks, any plans to do events in North America? Slowly, yes. With the pandemic a bit more under control. And yeah, it's still been tentative. I really want, if I'm hosting an event or if I'm organizing an event, I want people to be safe and I want things that go well. Moving also took a lot of my time. I'm still quite tired. Eternal Fancy asks, what is the latest internet rabbit hole you've dug through? I've been trying to keep up with the copyright developments of AI art. Let me see. Mao asks, what is your favorite games console? Whichever one you like to play games on is the best game console. At the moment, I'm actually mostly playing on PC. Bottom hemisphere. Yeah, it is a fun phrase. Saki asks, will you ever visit the bottom hemisphere? I probably will, yes. Mokali asks, favorite kind of warm clothing? For outside, I have a really nice good winter coat. For inside, just a basic sweater will work. Most of Canada asks, what is something in your recent Google history that is weird enough to be interesting to mention, but impersonal enough that you're willing to share on stream? I did look something up that was really weird. What was it? If I remember it later, I'll tell you. Callista asks, favorite bird species? The ones that only tweet in the late afternoon and early evening. Ayat Safura says, when I listen to your videos, I honestly have a similar feeling as if I'm listening to an ASMR calm video rather than hypnotized. Yes, that's very common. Actually, a lot of ASMR is just hypnosis with a different label because people are afraid of the hypnosis label. Mastermind asks, your view numbers are amazing. Why don't you make some nerdy statistics available on your website? Yes. They are. On every file page, you can see how much it's downloaded and viewed. Katie asks, instead of a message to the button at this time, what would you like to tell the hypno-horniest people here tonight? The hypno-horniest people. Well, I know you'd like me to use your mind for my entertainment and pull you down. No, I'm not going to. Maocat asks, what are the digits of pi? 3.14159265. And that's all I usually remember for programming purposes. Morning asks, how do you usually notice that a sub is going into trance? Often eyes and shoulders. Rex asks, is there any particular statistic on any scale you think is really interesting? Well, I did make this graph related to my files and orgasms once. And in general, I find it very fun to see what files do well and what files don't. It's very surprising and very confusing. Some of the ones I have no idea. Reading out the digits of pi is fractionation. The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure that if I read the digits of pi in the right way, that everyone would just go into trance anyway. Let's see. There we go. 3.3.14159265 358.979 32384. And then we would go on forever because the digits of pi do not end. And I'm not going to. Dingetje asks, what is your favorite way to pull down a brat? I will tell you tomorrow. Also, wake, just for safety. Katie asks, how long have you been working as a full-time programmer? Most of my professional life. Let me see. Official Moose. I literally said, it's so rude that this is working as you were dropping. I mean, to be fair, I was also using a hypno voice. And I could easily make it even better. I would have to check. I don't think the digits of pi would be copyrighted. So, as a certain file, I could do this one time. I don't know if I would do it for 20 minutes, but yeah, I could probably do this. Andrew was asked, do you consider yourself especially cuddly or otherwise affectionate? If I feel comfortable with people, yes. Gravity asks, where can I find information about upcoming events? Well, my helper will also tell this in the chat, which is hypno.nimja.com/live. Ace says that's the file for March 14th. It's just the digits of pi. Okay, I'm now going to check if March 14th, which I don't think it is. No, March 14th is a Tuesday. Okay, I will consider this. Assistant, please make a note to me. March 14th, digits of pi. It would make transcription very easy. This is true. If I don't make any mistakes. Pi approximation day is the 22nd of July. Yes, 22nd divided by 7. Keep in mind that you are asking me to spend at least 20 minutes on this, like reading digits, if I'm doing 20 minutes. Actually, no, I should make the file 3 minutes and 14 seconds long. That would be mean. Actually, the right length would probably be 14 minutes and 50 seconds. 15 seconds. 3.1415. And no, I'm not going to do 31 minutes. That's too long for a joke. Anyway, I do appreciate the idea. I have no idea if I will. It's a silly idea. Mokali asks, if copyright was not keeping you, what work of fiction would you like to theme a file around, if any? I don't know. See, most of the fiction that I like, I can make a file around without being too worried about copyright because I can work with the concept of it rather than the specifics. I do think Discworld would be very interesting. But we'll see. Andrews asks, if you could be a pastry, what kind of pastry would you be? A cinnamon roll would suit you, or maybe an apple flap, just because it is one of the funniest words. Mastermind asks, have you ever tested ChatGPT? I have not. I mean, I've observed its progress, but I haven't bothered too much myself. I've been busy. Unleashed Affair asks, would you be offended if other people recorded such a file inspired by this conversation? Only if they release it before March 14th. If you record this, then release it at the appropriate time. I do not want to claim any ownership on the idea, but come on. If we do this, it should be all at the same time, because it would be hilarious if multiple people released like just a reading of Pi on Pi Day. Sam asks, have you heard of the character Kilgrave? I am somewhat aware of it. Yeah, feel free to do it, just don't mess it up. Andrews asks, in true Mokali fashion, how might you tempt a moose? apparently, if you come up with a really depraved idea, I'm still curious what would be the best length for it. I think 3 minutes 14 seconds would be long enough for the idea to work. And I mean, like, I think that's how long the whole file should be, not including intro and outro. So the length that people see in the video would be perfect. And it also means it's not too much work, because it's still you reading just numbers for 3 minutes. Mahukat asks, what is your favorite flavor of mousse? I think naughty. And lemon is quite nice, actually. Mokali asks, Dwarf Fortress? Or is that not what you asked? So, let's see. Katie asks, do you ever record sleep files with a subject present? If yes, would you like to go into more detail of how the process goes? I record files usually with a subject present. I have them over Skype rather than in person because I don't, or like Discord or any other video calling. Because I don't want to have any audio bleed, and it helps with pacing. It helps a lot. Even though it could be a little bit weird for some people, it's just a nice way to engage with the file and make it more personal. Maocat asks, do you have a favorite Ghibli movie? Having recently reviewed several of them, I think Princess Mononoke is still one of the better ones. It's quite old, but really good. There's a lot of good Studio Ghibli movies. I don't really want to exclude any of them, but Princess Mononoke is just kind of deep and kind of intense for how far it goes with everything. Jezebel asks, have you ever just let a subject sleep when recording a sleep file? Only afterwards. Unleashed the Fair asked, could you describe the coziest box? The coziest. Something with cool, nice fresh air. A soft, fluffy interior, but one that is not too warm. And a blanket. Sam asks, wait, on Gold you hypnotize people or is it writing a script? So Gold patrons get the option to write a file with me, which is both the concept of the file and the recording. Spirited Away is also pretty good, but it's kind of weird for people who don't know Studio Ghibli. I found Castle in the Sky, which I also recently rewatched. It's still kind of nice. But I think Princess Mononoke is the most complete story. Morning asks, how would an in-person hypnosis session work with a subject who doesn't like eye contact? Well, you can even use the lack of eye contact as an induction. You can say things like, the more you look away from my eyes, the more in trance you are, since apparently you can't even muster the power to look up, for example. Also, 10 minutes remaining. Oh, as another Ghibli movie, Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind is pretty sweet as well. Mastermind asks, how can you stand 2 months without us? By having all the holidays and everything else as well. And as like Moose said, yeah, you don't want to look at my eyes. Here's a pocket watch or a crystal. Katie asks, do you ever add your own questions to the wisdom pool? I think I've added 1 or 2. Mahukat asks, does being a hypnotist help you with reading body language? Yes, it's like I generally focus very much on body language. And you can focus on so many things. Fingers, crystal. Sam asks, do you plan on doing a meetup in the UK/London in the future? Not a specific meetup for myself, but there's a yearly event in Wales. Shiny items, metronomes, pocket watches. Androphus asks, preferred method of gently compressing a dear friend, bear hug. Mahokat asks, do you have a favorite implement for hypnosis, which ties together with Mokali's favorite shiny item at the moment? I think I've shown it once on stream, a sparkly ball that combines very well with a gift that someone gave me on my birthday. Eternal Fancy asks, do you like physical contact? Yes, if I feel comfortable with the person. Like, I'm okay with basic physical contact. Like, I can hug practically everyone. But things like caresses or strokes, I do want to be comfortable with the person. The narrator asks, can you say something for the littles? Hush, little one. You've done well today. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful time relaxing later. Saki asks, 4 warm words, please. Blanket around your mind. It is very fun to get sort of a challenge. Also, Katrine, please be careful with your hands. I'm trying to remember the I with an accent. Is that a sharp I, like an E? Katrine? I mean, permanent marker is not exactly permanent either. Ah. Konrad's daughter. I'm glad that I got it right, Katrine. So many people want specific words now. Don't be too greedy, everyone. Just a Little Me asks, could a subject spend a whole day in trance and manage to be productive? So a little call out to a dear friend. Related to the current file and things, when they were packing for moving, they chose to put on background files to sort of occupy their mind while they're packing. And apparently their packing was very efficient. Iad asks, do you use hypnosis videos as a way of releasing the stress from dealing with tense thinking of programming, or is it just a hobby? I do it more because I enjoy hypnotizing people. Nude asks, what kind of shapes do you tend to doodle absently? I usually go for like sort of geometric shapes. Sometimes curves, sometimes more like straight. Dominica asks, do you plan on making more files for the littles? Eventually, yes, but no promises and no telling on when. Mokuli asks, recent debugging triumph described in a comfortably non-specific way. It is very satisfying, especially after some searching, to find out that not only did you find out what caused the bug, but in the process you found out a more efficient way of improving the whole process that caused the bug. Unleashed the Fair asks, have you ever drawn a spiral on a submissive or on a subject? Yes, more than once. Eternal Fancy asks, what's your favorite shape? I have no idea. I generally don't favor one shape over another. Healthy, perhaps. Katie asks, what's your favorite thing about seeing a dear/good friend have new experiences? Oh, now I get the question. Oh, it's so much fun to see people to hear about their experiences. Because it's very different from your own. My cat asks, have you ever played coding Capture the Flag? Was it fun? I don't know if that's a specific game. I've played Capture the Flag games. I've not coded one. Sam asks, do you like raccoons? We don't have them here. Mastermind asks, are you planning other files with whisper layers? I never reveal anything about future files. Nudud asks, hide and seek or tag? It doesn't really matter which way I'd use an inductionist, does it? Mowgli asks, how would you go about playing trancy tag? There's multiple ways you could do this. One of the funner ways would to use hypnosis to make people move really slowly, so that escaping or tagging becomes like really heavy. Saki asks, how would a subject go about building rapport with a tist? Kind of like any kind of friendship or interaction, sort of build up and, find out who they're like. Morniang asks, what if a sub started speaking to you in a different language, possibly to tease you? It depends on the language. Algorithmic asks, how would you describe the software development lifecycle in a hypnotic way? There is a file for that. 1 minute. Actually, last question. Annelies asks, would you rather talk about the weather or the local sports team when changing subjects? I think I can usually do better than either of them, but since I'm not really into sports, weather would be my preferred method. Moho asks, what is the best amount of pillows? Slightly shy of drowning. All right, that was the last question. I don't know for why, but somehow I felt that answering the pillow question was kind of fun. And then suddenly people ask more questions, but all good things must come to an end. And I am really grateful for all of you here. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, for supporting me, and for your presence and your interactions. Thank you for being here. This was Nimja Live. Wake.